So let's have a chat. Let's have a chat about divorce. Let's have a chat about narcissistic relationships, because I am now 10 years out from my divorce, and I want to tell you some of the things that I learned. The first thing I learned was, do not even for a second think that you are going to get an apology. If you are waiting for an apology from your ex, from the person they left you for, from whoever, from their family, from friends, from anyone who left, betrayed you, whatever that looks like, you're not going to get it. I know that's a tough pill to swallow, but you don't need the apology. You don't need the recognition in order for you to move on. And quite frankly, most people are not going to be able to even give it to you, because in order for them to give it to you, they have to sit in what they did. Now, most people are not going to be able to sit in what they did because that makes them feel really uncomfortable. Like they don't know how to actually do that. The next thing I learned was that it takes time to rebuild. Like rebuilding is no joke. It is a serious process that requires you to actually do the work mentally and emotionally on yourself. Like if you don't dive into self-development after going through what it is that you went through, you are going to end up with the same problems that you had before you got into that marriage or relationship that you're going to bring into the next one. This means that all the abandonment wounds, all the insecurities, all the fears, all the inability to actually just even manifest something. Like I didn't know any of that stuff. Nothing at all. Didn't know any of it. So if I hadn't done any of that work on myself, I wouldn't have had my business. I wouldn't have had the success that I have. I wouldn't have the relationship. I wouldn't really have anything. I probably just would have defaulted back to like the same wounds that I had prior to my ex-husband and getting into that relationship. So I realized it is always beneficial to focus on yourself. That means go to the seminars, do the classes, enroll in coaching, go to therapy, go to the gym, like do the stuff. Feed your mind every single day with the stuff that you know you need to be listening to, whether it's affirmations, whether it's motivational speakers, someone to get you out of the mindset of not being able to do the things that you want to do and not being a victim and actually being a creator and a thriver. That was something that I definitely learned over the course of 10 years. Not only did I learn it, but I had to learn how to master the skill of it, because regardless of going through a divorce and rebuilding, you're always working on yourself. You're always faced with new challenges aside from just like trying to co-parent. The next thing that I learned is that you cannot be afraid of love. It is extremely easy to be in a horrible relationship with someone that treats you like crap and then get discarded and then have a fear of abandonment. I mean, isn't that just like the default thing that is going to happen after you get out of that relationship? So having this fear that everyone's going to leave you or that you can't trust anyone is just natural. But guess what? Not everyone is your ex. Not everyone is a crappy person. Not everyone is unhealthy. If you are healthy, if you are a good person, that means that there's another person out there, man or woman, whatever you're into, that is a good person too. That would love you unconditionally, that wants the same things, that is your best friend, someone that you can have great physical intimacy with and great emotional intimacy with, someone that you can actually have a better relationship with than you had with your ex, and chances are that relationship sucks. So what are we mourning? The next thing I learned was how to bite my tongue and stop being so reactive. Whether it was my ex-husband, whether it was his new wife, whether it was his girlfriend at the time, learning how to control my emotional state was so important. And it wasn't just important with them in that situation. It was just important with people in general. Like it wasn't my responsibility to just constantly be so reactive in life. I had to learn how to slow down and to not give everything my attention, especially the things that were just going to drag me down rabbit holes and make me feel like crap. So I no longer allowed people to have that kind of control over me. The next thing I learned was that in order to find love, I actually had to be loving. Like I couldn't have a fear. I had to become the person that was actually looking to attract into my life. And now I always knew I was a good person, so I didn't need to learn how to be a good person, but I had to basically feel like I was worthy of the love that I actually wanted. And I think when you come out of really horrible situations, it's hard sometimes to, whoa, that was aggressive. It's hard sometimes to believe that there are good people out there when so many people have let you down in the past. But just so you know, that's a wound. Not every person is like that, and not every person would treat you poorly. I think the last thing I learned was just how to really truly slow down and love myself and believe in myself and really start thinking about what is the things that I actually wanted in my life and start going after them. Working on your level of self-worth is so incredibly important when you come out of these situations, because it gets damaged, it gets bruised when you have gone through such pain and heartache, and you're just exhausted, you're just emotionally drained. When you've gone through those terrible situations, it's very difficult to just like rebuild quickly. It is a process. I think for me, the divorce probably took me 4 years of me working on myself in order for me to feel normal. And then I think it probably took me another like 2 to 3 years to really just like establish myself financially, buy my house, like all of those things. Every situation is different, obviously, but there's going to be some struggles that you have after coming out of that relationship, whether it's emotional stuff, whether it's trust issues, whether it's physically just moving and buying the house and selling this and doing this and just feeling established in your own community. It just takes time. So I'm here to tell you that I know that right there may be frustrating, but as a woman that's sitting here 10 years out, I can tell you that yes, all those things that I went through sucked at times. Some didn't, some were fun and some phases were great, but life goes by so fast, and 10 years is like the blink of an eye in the grand scheme of your life. So however long it does actually take you, don't worry, because when you're on the other side, you're not going to look back and be like, oh my God, that was the most difficult thing I ever went through. It's 100% going to be like childbirth. It's going to be like anything difficult that you've ever gone through, where you know it was something hard that you had to go through, but you don't really remember what it felt like to actually go through it because you're so past it now. The most important thing I can leave you with is to work on yourself. Invest in yourself during this time, because this is your selfish time to get yourself together. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.